What up, Wolves? Blade Master here, and this is going to be a pretty special battle that I fought against Armenian King, who is just one of the best players that I've played against, and he's also got a YouTube channel. Of course, you must have seen it, but if not, the link is down there in the description. If you want to see some quality micromanagement, some much better micromanagement than me, and some quality tactics, then go over there and check out his channel. But yeah, this is going to be a battle that I fought against him. I've taken Armenia, and he has taken Carthage. And let's see how that goes. I mean, Carthage, as we all know, is a pretty powerful faction, especially in this patch. But so is Armenia. Armenia is definitely a very good faction, and something that's kind of underused by most players. And it's definitely got the tools to kill off a power faction. It's got, a Cartley Axemen who, just from the looks of it, don't seem like great units, great melee infantry. But you got to know that this weapon damage of 26 out of that 13, so half of it is armor piercing. So they're very deadly to armored melee infantry, which most power factions tend to have. Their charge bonus is pretty strong too at 25. Their melee defense at 51 is very good too, and they've got above average health and base morale and armor. So in general they're a very cool mid-tier infantry. Probably would benefit from a bit of a buff, but for a faction that focuses more on its cavalry power, they are definitely a very strong infantry unit to take. So I brought a total of 4 Cartley Axemen. Behind them I brought 4 Eastern Archers, and despite their cheap cost, they are very powerful archers. They've got 35 missile damage, which is very good, especially for a unit that costs such less talents. And they've got pretty average shots per minute. So their calling card is actually their high missile damage for their cheap price. So besides them, I brought 2 mercenary Cappadocian cav, a couple of noble blood cav, and a total of 3 Persian cavalry. These guys are mid-tier shock cav, which are pretty underpowered at this stage in the game. They were pretty underpowered in the previous patch too, I think. Yeah, no one really brought Thessalians and mid-tier shock cav even back in patch 14. But in this patch, they're definitely not very strong. But I like Persian cav. Thessalians are not very good, but Persian cav are pretty strong. They've done a good deal of damage for me earlier. And finally, I brought 1 Royal Cataphracts unit. Now, Armenian King has brought a very, very strong army. This is just like one of the best armies and one of the best, Carthage counters for Armenia that I've seen. He's brought 3 mercenary Cretans. Of course, these Cretans will win against Eastern Archers any day of the week. He's brought a total of 4 late Libyan hoplites, whom he's going to keep in the center. Whom he kept in the center and then immediately retreated back with when he saw my Cartley Axemen. And instead of them, he's going to bring his sword corps. And he's brought a total of 3 mercenary Scutari and a couple of Libyan infantry. Finally, he's brought a total of 2 Sacred Band, which is again a unit which you don't really see, but one that will just destroy the 2 Eastern Spearmen that I've kept on my flanks. And finally, he's brought a total of 4 Carthaginian cavalry and 1 general and bodyguard unit. Now, these Sacred Band are just such powerful units, because you can see their melee attack at 42 is really good for a spear unit, and their armor at 105 is just brilliant. They've got a very, very good statistic for them. These mercenary Scutari will charge up into Cartley Axemen, and I was pretty surprised as this battle went on, and I'll let you guys. I don't want to spoil anything, but let's just see how well they do. I'll put this back onto regular speed. Libyan infantry shouldn't do too well against Cartley Axemen, but that's not the main killing force of my army. Anyways, you can see these Eastern Spearmen have already are already wavering. But meanwhile, my noble blood cavalry is charging into his Carthaginian cav, and they should do pretty well against them. But he's brought late Libyan hoplites to support immediately, and those guys have 30 bonus versus cav, which is pretty deadly for any cavalry unit. Now his Sacred Band have obliterated my Eastern Spearmen over there, and they're going to charge into my Persian cav unless I run them the hell out of there. He's running away with his Carthaginian cav, which is again a very, very smart decision. Here I'm forced to run in with my Royal Cataphracts, and instead now I've gotten them into a real pickle because he's brought his Sacred Band to attack them. So I'm going to try and pull them out of there and pull through his units. I've crushed some of them on the charge, and I'm going to use that momentum to try and pull them out. They've already suffered some casualties, and he's just bringing more and more of those late Libyan hoplites to just surround and bog them down. and that would make my royal cataphracts basically useless. My Cardly Axemen are starting to lose this battle, and especially against these mercenary Scutari. This is what I was really I didn't really understand. These Cartly Axemen have not done like anything compared to those mercenary Scutari. They should be able to defeat these mercenary Scutari any day of the week, because I mean they cost more. Well, actually, that's not a proper reason, but I just thought that they would be able to do well against them, but they aren't. And I'm just going to have to focus on my Cappadocians to try and win me this battle. They are in a pretty thin line, and that means their charge bonus wouldn't be very deadly. And instead, I'm going to charge into his Carthaginian cav, who would obviously lose to them. Meanwhile, my Persian cavalry, they've got about 71 kills because they managed to get into his archer line, his skirmish line. And fortunately, his mercenary Scutari are starting to lose now because I got a charge in with my royal cataphracts. And despite them being bogged down by just a ton of spear troops, I still managed to pull them through without too many casualties, and they still managed to leave a small mark into this battle before getting slaughtered. But the rest of the army, or the rest of the battle, is not going in my favor. Despite putting these guys into shield wall late into the game, so that they could just last for a bit longer, they've still died. These Cartly Axemen just haven't done too well. 70 kills on all of them, and his Cretan archers just destroyed my army, and my Eastern archers. And I've just got a couple of cav left. My general is dead. I just got slaughtered in this battle. It just shows that the difference in power between Armenian king and I. He's definitely a much better player than I am, and this is just proof of that. I had one full strength Persian cavalry just charge into his spear band. They're not going to do anything because they're going to charge into some of the most armored troops that are there in the game. And yeah, I've just got a couple of cavalry left, and they're going to die a pretty painful, quick death, thankfully. And yeah, that's the end of the game. 30 seconds left, but we don't really need to even look at that. Take a look at how many troops he's got. He just destroyed me. I'm really surprised that wasn't a decisive victory. And instead was just a close defeat. I'm surprised there wasn't like a crushing defeat. Anyways, looking at the unit stats, some of my cavalry did okay. I've managed to get them into those mercenary Cretans, which got them those kills. But besides that, my Eastern Spearmen, they obviously weren't going to do anything. My Cartly Axemen were quite the disappointment. I thought they would be at least able to kill off his mercenary Scutari. But they just got slaughtered by even his Libyan infantry, which was kind of surprising. His Sacred Band did really well. I mean, out of this 154 and 128 kills, 120 were on Eastern Spearmen, but they did manage to bog down my general. And Royal Cataphracts are units that can get easily like 300 plus kills in a game, and he instead managed to just limit them to only 96. So really well done. My Eastern archers could have done a lot better, but his Cretan archers were just perfectly positioned to take them out. Again, this is just an example of a really strong counter build, but a counter build is just one step in the game. The pulling away of his cav early on in the battle, pulling away of his late Libyan hoplites, just before my infantry were about to charge. Those were just perfect examples of really good micro and really useful micro that he managed to do in this game, and that's what led to his really solid victory over me. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this battle. Hope you took some pleasure in watching me lose. But yeah, stay tuned for more. Peace.